Just because rich countries have lower average tariff doesn't mean they have truly free trading. They have just gotten smarter about using non-tariff barrier things like health and safety standards, strict labeling rules, and complex custom pro- produce. These are especially hard for small producers in developing countries to meet. In 2019, avocado export from Kenya to the UAE we are blocked for not meeting sanitary equipment. But the real issue is was that small farmers could avoid the cost tariffication. The result access denied even though there was no formal tariff. The article actually admits this and it's key. Rich country might have low average tariff, but they still slap high that is. So let's call it tariff peaks on excess actually the kind of products poor countries are trying to sell the cloth, footwear, and leathers good. Look at the Bangladesh when it export the t-shirt to the US. They face tariff of 15% or more, while Germany luxury cars enter duty free. How is that level playing field? These tariff peaks aren't accidentally, they are designed to protect jobs in rich country while keeping poor country stuck exporting cheap raw material.
It's true that developing countries often impose high tariffs on imports from the other poor countries, but they are not doing this because they want to sort out their trade. They often have no choice. Tariffs are one of the few ways they can raise revenue in economies with weak tax systems. In countries like Malawi or Chad, customs duties bring in over 30% of the government revenue. These governments simply don't have the tools to tax income or cooperation eventually. And it's worth noting that trade among developing countries is rising, especially through blocs like the African Continental Free Trade Area, which aims to reduce these internal barriers over time.
Yes, the WTO forced rich countries to phase out textile quotas by 2005, but the very next year, the US then EU hit. China's textile imports with temporary safeguard measures, a fancy name for new quotas. So while quotas disappeared, they were just replaced with the new tools that did the same job. Here's what happened between 2005 2008. The US imposed emergency limits on China's bras, pants, and shirts, all under the excuse of protecting its domestic industry from a surge in imports.
So, the article suggests it's a level field because countries like India are now filing anti-dumping cases too. But the reality is, rich countries created these rules and used them to protect their own industries, often in a shady way. The US regularly accuses Vietnam of dumping catfish, but that's mostly about politics, not price. American catfish farmers lobby hard, and Washington responds with duties, even when Vietnamese fish are just cheaper. India and others are learning to play the same game. Yes, but the power still tilts heavily towards the countries that can afford expensive lawyers and massive investigations.
Even when developing countries open their markets, they rarely get full access in return. Rich countries protect their own industries with massive subsidies and policy tricks. The United States and Europe Union spend tens of billions every year subsidizing their farmers. That means African cotton producers who can grow cotton cheaper and more sustainably still can compete because American farmers are getting government checks. Meanwhile, in Europe Union's Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism or CBAM is a new way of taxing imports from countries with less climate regulation. In theory, it's about climate in practice. It makes it harder for developing countries to sell steel, cement, and fertilizers to Europe.
I know this raises a lot of questions, and if you're looking for more clarity, don't hesitate to give our call center a shout. They'll be happy to help.
Hello, I am Yasin and I would like to ask a favor. What the meaning of sanitary requirements from your explanation?
So, sanitary requirements are rules and standards designed to ensure cleanliness and health safety in environments such as workplaces, food production facilities, and public uses. These requirements aim to prevent contamination, control the spread of infectious disease, and maintain hygienic conditions to protect public health.
Between poor and rich countries, which country is the real protectionist?
Protectionists are rich countries. Even though they claim to support free trade with low average tariff, they hide behind non-tariff barriers, subsidies, and legal tricks like safeguards and anti-dumping laws, all designed to protect their own industries and block export from poor countries.
Does protectionism automatically enhance technology and innovation?
Protectionism generally doesn't boost productivity or innovation in the long run. It limits competition, raises costs, and slows down technology transfer, while it might help new industry grow at first. Without clear the limits and real improvement plans, it often leads to stagnation instead of progress.
One is the loneliest number that you'll ever do. Two can be as bad as one. It's the loneliest number since the number one. One is the loneliest number that you'll ever do.